Okay guys, welcome to week 5. I finally reached that point where I just feel like dog shit pretty much all the time. Maybe like apart from the 30 minutes immediately after a meal, a relatively large meal, aside from that, like even not just physical stuff. Yeah, the workouts are crap, but like even just other stuff, just brain power is starting to be impacted to the point where like I will sit down to do like emails and I'll just kind of like stare at the screen like this for like 20 minutes. I'm like 20% as productive as usual, and then that's it, right? But jumping into what most of you probably want to see, this is a recent-ish physique update. I actually put this in a TikTok or a YouTube short a couple days ago, and I said 6 weeks out, but it's kind of like in between. This was like 5.5 weeks, but whatever. So this is me at around, give or take, I'm bouncing in this footage around 178, you know, having a low day around 177.2, maybe a high day of 179. Point is, I am routinely and consistently, comfortably, officially in the 170s. And at this point, my physique is starting to look good. Now, a lot of you guys commented on that short, on that TikTok, and you're like, Igor, you look amazing. This is the best you've ever looked. And you're gonna win. You can step on stage right now. First of all, I really appreciate all those comments. I love hearing that from you guys. You're all wrong. This is still not the best I've ever looked. I have been leaner in the past, and with being leaner comes also the visual impression, the visual illusion of you being bigger. And also in terms of me stepping on stage, this is still not enough. Even for men's physique, this is probably not lean enough, but definitely for classic physique, I definitely have at least another probably 5 pounds to lose. Most of that honestly being fat loss. That is why I'm really aiming to get down well into the low 170s. We're talking 173, 172, if not lower than that. Ideally even in the 160s, although that might be out of the cards at this point. This looks great, but this is the difference, right? This is the difference between you looking good for the average population, you even looking pretty damn good on YouTube and social media, which is a really high standard, and there's one level above, and that's competition. That is when you need the crazy shit. Even especially for bodybuilding, that's when you need like the ludicrous stuff that you never even, most people will never even see in their lives. We're talking the shredded glutes, the feathered quads, all this crazy shit. I'm not quite there. Having a nice six-pack, having some striations in your chest, that's all great, and that will probably, again, look better than 99% of people out there. But stage ready? Not yet. On the way, and I think I am within striking distance, but not quite yet. Okay, next thing I want to talk about. I want to walk you guys through a full, not just full day of eating, but sort of like a full day in the life. First things first, every day these days, I am waking up and, I might walk the dog, but the second thing that I do is mandatory cardio. Approximately 300 to 400 calories worth of cardio. Usually it's 10 minutes just running at a regular 6.3 miles per hour pace. Yes, it's oddly specific that it's exactly 6.3. I don't know why, it just feels good for me. I'll do that for 10 minutes, followed by about 15 to 20 minutes of incline walking. Incline of 9, and I do about 3 miles per hour, and these days all I'm doing is watching Attack on Titan, waiting for season 4 part 3. By the way, holy shit is it good. Like without spoiling too much for like the 3 of you out there who are into this and still haven't watched this one scene right here, I think it was like episode 66 or something, where the Jaw Titan is like fighting, and then all the scouts are fucking coming at him.
俺は巨人だぞ。人間の姿のまま俺を殺す気か。これがパラディ島の悪魔。
I'm just like, this is the most fucking badass scene I have ever seen in the history of anime or all TV, all media combined. Like all those scenes with the Commander Erwin.
それこそ唯一この残酷な世界に抗う術なのだ。兵士を怒れ、兵士を叫べ、兵士を叩け。
It was like the fuck. It was just like hype beast level 9, and then season 4 just took it up to like level 20. It's just, yeah, it's good shit. Either way, jumping into breakfast meal number 1, right off the bat, you guys might be wondering, Igor, aren't you intermittent fasting? Why are you even having a breakfast to begin with? The answer is simple. I am losing my fucking mind. I have been relatively decent with intermittent fasting up until about like, again, like maybe like week 8 weeks out. These days, I can't do it. I will wake up at like 8:39 and I am so like mind-numbingly hungry and essentially like non-functional from any standpoint that like I'll do cardio and then like an hour later, so like an hour and a half after I've woken up, I need something inside of me. I need to eat. Otherwise, I can't. I'm pretty much just not a functional human being. In this case, we did a high protein, moderate fat, relatively low carb omelet. This was just 200 grams of egg whites, 2 extra large eggs. I've been eating like this. I've been eating like these like really clean kind of like eggs from like a local-ish farm. Apparently these eggs are coming from like they call it Mennonite. So it's an Amish, apparently something similar farm where they're actually pasture raised. So just from like an ethical thing, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But like I'm trying to get a lot less animal products from just standard factory farm sources. So just going to like a Walmart, going to like a typical regular grocery store and buying the cheapest possible meat or eggs or whatever that you can possibly get. From just a general health standpoint, but primarily from an ethical animal treatment standpoint. This is something which, yeah, it costs more. These eggs pretty much cost me like, I mean, here in Canada, this cost me $8, where I can probably get a regular pack of eggs for like $3.50, $4. So it is essentially double the price. But again, if you are fortunate enough to be in the financial position where you can spend a few extra dollars, in my opinion, it is worth it if you can have sort of the peace of mind that like, hey, these animals actually lived a relatively decent life and they didn't. I mean, some of the shit I've seen is just, it's straight up torture. And again, I'll probably talk about this in the future, but this unfortunately is a much heavier video topic than I want to talk about necessarily right now. Then we threw in some cherry tomatoes, a little bit of ketchup-ish mixed with some hot sauce, and then I also have a little bit of light Havarti cheese in there as well, just to add a little bit of flavor. Overall, it's about 400 calories, 52 grams of protein, moderate-ish fat, low carb. I did need to add some carbohydrates. I do believe that even if you are eating a relatively low-carb diet, which I kind of am sort of right now, if you are going to have any carbohydrates throughout the day, the bulk of them, or a good at least serving of them, should be around your workout, ideally before your workout, maybe a little bit after your workout. But just kind of like, again, if you worked out earlier in the day, then I would probably like kind of front load my carbs towards that beginning half of the day as opposed to somewhat later at night. So I just had an extra snack. This is half a pint of raspberries and just 2 caramel chocolate rice cakes, just to give myself a nice little boost of, in this case, around 50 grams of carbohydrates and help me power through a workout, which in this case was actually a leg day. Yes, I know, that's right, guys. You might be shocked. I do train legs. I just don't show it that often because it's not as exciting. I've talked about before how my legs have been just magnets for injuries. So much so to the point that now, because of my recent-ish injury where I banged the shit out of my knee while rock climbing, I now pretty much exclusively rock climb with knee sleeves. Not for any actual knee sleeve like extension requirement, but just to protect them essentially as knee pads so that I don't continue to bang the crap out of them and I don't re-injure myself, which is exactly what happened 6 or 7 weeks ago. And after that, it was crap. Like, it got to a point where I couldn't squat for like 4 weeks, and even then, when I got back into it, I was doing like a plate and a half, if that. So these days, I'm taking it nice, taking it simple, doing everything on the Smith machine. Yes, I know it makes me feel like an old man, but you know, I'm not trying to break any weight records here. I'm not trying to free weight barbell back squat 500 pounds anymore. As long as I can stimulate my quads to the best of my ability without having to worry about like the stabilizing the weight or like the issues with my lower back or knees or any of that shit, That right now is my priority. Stimulate the quadricep. Everything else, I don't really give a shit right now. Next up for a post-workout meal, not actually meal, all I had is a regular scoop of... This is the green apple clear whey isolate. I would probably say that right now at the moment, this is my #1 favorite flavor, especially in the summer when it's all hot and you really want to cool down. You crave like a Gatorade, you crave like a juice. That, mix it up with a little bit of cold water, stick it in the fridge, let the foam settle, let it cool down, just so good. Usually have around 25 to 30 grams, so it's like just a little bit more than a scoop. It's around 24, 25 grams of protein. Really good. But actually one thing that I wanted to mention, and this is brand new, and this is crazy. This is probably like, the clear whey isolate was kind of a big deal. That was a big innovation. This, MyProtein just sent me, this, I don't even know how this is possible. This is their new whey, which they call Whey Forward. And I have to explain this very carefully. It is a whey protein that is animal-free. Now, I know what you guys might be thinking. You think, okay, Igor, it's just a vegan protein. You know, we've had this 1,000 times before. No, because it is still whey. And whey comes from dairy. Whey is a byproduct of, usually, of milk creation. So you guys might be thinking, Igor, how the hell is it possible for you to have a whey protein, whey meaning from dairy, dairy meaning cows, how could it be whey and animal-free at the same time? It's interesting. Apparently, what they have done is MyProtein has somehow, through a relatively new system or something, they have been able to teach a bacteria. Because remember, all of these things, a lot of like how we have probiotics in our stomach. There's like good bacteria, bad bacteria. There's the whole supplement industry of probiotics. There's all these, bacteria does a lot of shit. So apparently, they have figured out a way how to cultivate and teach bacteria to, using plant sources, reorganize it, digest it, metabolize it, whatever magic they do, and essentially reorganize it, similar to what a cow does, into whey protein. Whereas usually what humans do is we have a cow do it, because cows eat grass, then some magic happens in their stomachs, they are able to make milk, and then we take that. They're able to essentially just do that same process, but cut the cow out of it. So we make whey bioidentical on like a molecular level whey protein that just happens to be made exclusive without the cow. Ideally, when it comes to animal consumption, I would like to make it as ethical as possible in the sense that I am eating an animal that had at least somewhat of a decent life. It wasn't tortured and just spent its entire life living in a tiny cage in absolute misery and pain. If I can cut that out, great. But if I can cut the animal out completely, such as in this case, that's even better. So if you guys are interested, I'm going to leave a link down in the description box below, and there's going to be a lot more like information down there, so you can go check out the link and learn a little bit more if you are interested. Okay, next meal. This was sort of a late lunch. This was a New York strip steak, 310 grams raw, and then we had a little bit of cooked sweet potato. I just made it in the microwave because I'm too lazy and to learn how to actually fancy cook it. And then, as you can tell, pretty much a pool-sized serving of ketchup. Yes, I love ketchup. Yes, it's not the best thing in the world, especially on a diet because of the increased amount of sugar, the increased amount of calories and carbs. But you know what? I have very little in my life that I look forward to right now from a food standpoint, so I refuse, at least at this point, to remove the ketchup. Maybe when I'm 2 or 3 weeks out, we'll have a different conversation. And at least right now, I could still have a little bit of steak. The only problem is when I do have steak, as I mentioned earlier in the videos, because it is a bit higher fat, usually I do have to kind of compromise and make up for it later in the day, which is exactly actually what happened during my dinner. This was, my friends and I went out, and this is pretty much like one of the last times that I'll probably be doing this competition prep, and that is eating out, primarily eating out at a place where I can't necessarily track the macros that well. I just had myself a big-ass chicken Caesar salad with, I like this restaurant a lot, because you know how sometimes you get a chicken Caesar salad, and they give you like this much chicken, it's kind of just like a garnish, like they just sprinkle it on. No, this place actually gives you a solid, probably like 130, 140 grams of legit cooked chicken breast, and then yeah, just a regular Caesar salad. The only carbs here is like, what, the 10, 15 grams of carbs coming from the croutons and like the 1 gram of carbs coming from friggin' lettuce. Yes, it is going to be higher in fat due to a little bit of cheese. I did ask them to go lower on the cheese, but you never know how much they do. And obviously the ranch dressing. I still, tracked it, I think, relatively accurately. That being said, this is probably one of the last times I can do this. Essentially, my opinion is like, I want you to live a decent life, and I want you, even on a contest prep, even on a diet, still going out to eat, still having a social life with friends. I don't really like the idea of fitness taking over your life, even on a competition prep. Well, at least maybe not, apart from the last month, which I'll get to in a minute. You can still go out to eat. You just have to make good choices. Even if your friends are having burgers, even if your friends are having onion rings and nachos, you just gotta zero in. You gotta be like a horse with those little blinder things, and you gotta be like, you know what? Fuck no. I'm gonna have my little chicken Caesar salad, I'm gonna have my Diet Coke, and that's it. And yeah, it may not be perfect because I'm still kind of estimatory. That's not a word. I'm still kind of estimating, sort of, my calories because these foods, like, it's never perfect. Probably once I really am in the final grind, we're talking like less than 4 weeks, the final month, that is when I truly will not put anything in my mouth unless I A, prepare it at home, in which case I know the macros like 99% with accuracy, or if I'm eating out at a place with a very, very good nutrition menu. Chipotle, for example, is a place that has a pretty damn good, pretty robust nutrition menu online where you can actually select each individual food topping. You can say extra, light, medium, half, all those things. A lot of like big chain restaurants, even like despite it not being very diet-friendly foods, even things like McDonald's and Subway are still pretty good. You know the exact calories and macros and everything. When you go out to like kind of smaller restaurants and you get kind of these more subjective, arbitrary meals like chicken Caesar salad, then it's a little bit more, again, estimatory. I'm coining that word if it doesn't exist right now. I want it in the dictionary. I mean, I'll be honest, even right now, that's probably not the best thing for me to be doing, but it's rare, and this is a way that you can actually still live a social life. You don't have to be like, hey, what are you guys doing? You're going out to eat? No, I can't come. Or if I do come, I'm going to sit in my sad little corner with my Tupperware of chicken and rice. Like, this is what I've always talked about. Hell, this is one of the reasons why my channel originally was called VitruvianPhysique. It's the Vitruvian Man by Leonardo da Vinci. It's living your life within, like, proportion and living your life within balance of everything. Not just physical, but physical, fitness, nutrition, social life, romantic life, friendship. Allowing fitness to complement your life, not take over your life until you become some sad, like, lonely bodybuilder who sits in the corner and yeah, you're 8% body fat, but you're also fucking miserable. You have no friends, no girlfriend, and the only thing that you have going for yourself is that you have a shredded six-pack. See, this is already not a healthy, not a good way to live. I can't imagine this plus an extra 5% strictness because now I don't even eat out at restaurants at all. Even if I do track macros and do, the whole, like, pretty much I just take flexible dieting out and literally I just live off zucchini, ground beef, and water. So yeah, right now, at least 5 weeks out, it's serious, but it's not like ultra, super, mega final month serious. Right now, I will still relish in my chicken Caesar salad and large amounts of ketchup. Either way, just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update as to what's been going on. So overall, I guess the vibe of the video is looking good. I am on track, and I feel like dog shit. Yeah.